Terror in the hallways. Lone gunman kills 35 and self at local school. Devastates city. Thursday, October 9th, 2003. St. Louis, Missouri. A student opened fire yesterday at Lewis and Clark High School in Midvale County, killing 28 students, 3 teachers, 3 staff members, and 1 administrator. The student, identified as Caleb Rayner, 16, entered the school's east doors at 9:04 a.m. on Wednesday, armed with a sawed-off shotgun, a 9mm handgun, and 16 rounds of ammunition. Though Rayner's path to the school is not yet known, police have confirmed that he first entered the principal's office and the art room on the first floor, before proceeding to the second floor. "We heard shots down the hallway," said Ben Baccaro, 17, a senior, who was in a physics classroom on the second floor. "I looked out the class window and saw someone in black walk by, and our teacher told us to get under our desks." Rayner killed 35 people and wounded 22 in a rampage that lasted less than 1 hour. The death toll was announced this morning, though investigators are still in the process of identifying the victims and notifying their families. Police are retracing Rayner's movements through the school, a shootout that ended in his suicide. Rayner's body was discovered late yesterday in the school's gymnasium. "He walked into our classroom, and there was just nothing," said Kavita Thaman, 15, who was in a biology class on the second floor. "No anger, no laughter, just nothing. He stared at us blankly. Then he shot a boy next to me in the chest." 150 law enforcement officials arrived on the scene at 9:22 a.m., along with 5 SWAT teams that later entered the school at approximately 10:09 a.m., after cell phone calls from inside the school reported that gunfire had stopped. FBI officials are also investigating the shooting and its cause. No motive has yet been determined, though police are questioning Eric Greeley, 17, a close friend of Rayner's who was not at school during the shooting. "So far, he's not a suspect, but we have some questions," said Midvale County Sheriff Albert Corcoran. "Right now, we're just trying to deal with the magnitude of what has occurred." The scene outside of Lewis and Clark High School was one of pandemonium, when students were finally evacuated late morning. Parents waited for news of their children while students and teachers streamed from the building, some stained with blood. Law enforcement officials later corralled parents to the local public library to wait for news of their children and to make room at the high school for ongoing investigation. Each high school student signed a register as they left the building to account for their presence. Medical helicopters and ambulances arrived on the scene to take the wounded to nearby hospitals. Meanwhile, a search warrant has been authorized to investigate the suspect's home. "It's just unbelievable," said Betsy Caraway, an employee in the school's cafeteria who hid with co-workers in the kitchen's walk-in freezer when she heard shots fired. "These are just kids. This is a school. This is meant to be a safe place." Amid widespread news this week regarding the war in Iraq, President Bush held a press conference sending prayers to the community of Lewis and Clark High School and the city of St. Louis. The rampage occurred just after the state of Missouri passed a concealed carry bill this year, legislation that Governor Bob Holden vetoed before it was overridden by the Missouri General Assembly and Senate. Governor Holden held a press conference last night that called for prayer, care, and healing, in addition to continued consideration of gun responsibility, mentioning specifically the recent bill. "In the coming days, we're going to need our community," said Jeremiah Olson, a Lewis and Clark parent who at 7 p.m. last night was still waiting for news from his child. "We're going to need every last shred of empathy and love and peace that still exists on this earth."